How is it going?
Yeah, doing well. Really, really excited to be here. And yeah, it's just a privilege being able to be here in Abu Dhabi, being able to meet incredible female founders and executives and people with such diverse experiences and backgrounds.
Do you have any questions for me?
Empathy for me is like a value that I think, firstly pride ourselves in, but also value a lot. And I'm wondering, like, in your role in journalism, how have you kind of embraced empathy, and how do you practice it, and what is kind of your experience with that value trait?
Well, I found that in my business, especially being a woman in this business, all of us are kind of like on our own.
Yeah.
And so I really developed Know Your Value to really kind of connect women as starting out in at the beginning of Know Your Value was for women in the business. To sort of understand that there are strength in numbers and to empathize with each other on the struggles of, a working journalist and the crazy hours and the terrible pay and all the different things that came along with it and the inequality. So, I found that it sort of helped create strength in an area that was needed in an industry. I don't think women had as much in the past 20 years, especially 30 years ago when I was starting out.
Right.
But I also think that it is really important when you're trying to create a more diverse environment. You need to not just empathize with people, you need to meet them where they are. Not everybody's going to come the same route to the table. And so I've really been trying to mentor people on doing that more, and have even come up with ideas in my own company as to how we can bring in diversity from different angles to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of like the work that I'm really passionate in this space in manufacturing industrials, like I think if you look at me on face value from the outside, you don't really expect me to be working in like such a technical and niche space, but it's something I'm really passionate about, and it's all about giving a voice to people who feel like they're traditionally just overlooked time and time again in society, right? Like these group of highly technical people who are literally holding up the American, like we have food on the table because things are manufactured. It's these people who feel invisible, and so giving them a voice is something that like I'm really passionate in working in this space. And I think actually touching upon that topic, as a young female founder of color, so just to give you a quick note, so I'm 21 years old, dropped out of college to create this startup. I am in the under 30 manufacturing industry list this year, and I am the youngest listee in my sector. And probably I think one of 7 women, or like 4 women, and so in my list. And so I oftentimes walk into rooms where I'm the only person who looks like me as a young female of color. And so how do you, like, what is your advice to, whether that's 21-year-old, your 21-year-old self, for instance, or like looking back
I would say, so you're 21?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would also say, like, take your time.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're obviously you're surpassing many, but you want to like make sure you stop, not to smell the roses, but make sure you get the lessons along the way. Because when you're successful at a very young age, you skip the parts where you fail, or where you make mistakes. And those are really important parts of the career. So look for those and don't be afraid of it. And don't be afraid even to slow down when you need to. Right. But I'd say, you seem passionate about what you're doing. You love it. You're good at it. That's fantastic. Keep going.
My name is Annie. I'm the co-founder and CEO of H20K Innovations, an IoT-enabled analytics platform providing data-driven optimization of industrial liquid and water systems for manufacturing and supply chain. We believe in unlocking previously untapped data for our customers that comprise society's most fundamental sectors to now enable them to gain a competitive advantage in the way that they operate, both becoming more sustainable and also more efficient. With our deployed network of commodity sensors coupled with our process optimization software, we are working with major players dominating the manufacturing market, from Coca-Cola to Unilever, Cargill, Ecolab, Dairy Farmers of America, to even one of the world's largest tech companies in their hyperscale data centers for cooling water optimization. At H20K Innovations, our vision is Industry 4.0. One of the most important skills and values I utilize in my day-to-day work at H20K Innovations is empathy. Relentless customer obsession is critical. Especially in enterprise sales, I interact and engage with people from diverse backgrounds, ranging from C-suite level executives of Fortune 500 enterprises to managers and directors, all the way to people on the shop floor and the factory floor, from plant managers to plant operators. And these people come from backgrounds and experiences that are very different, oftentimes, from mine and my team's. And so it's so incredibly important to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. For one of my stories, and I remember one of my experiences, one plant manager that we work closely with is from rural Georgia, and he told us, "Annie, I've never felt like someone cared so much about what I had to say in my life. I've never felt so heard like I do interacting with your team." And that is incredibly important, and what gets me out of bed every morning, what drives my work at H20K Innovations. Making people feel heard and bring gratitude, empathy to the table, no matter who we talk to and no matter what their background and their role is. It's all about asking the right questions. So when you're approaching a conversation in enterprise sales, or really a conversation with anyone, whether that's an investor, a mentor, or beyond, spend the first part of your conversation asking really open-ended questions to learn about their experiences and what they care about. So ask questions like, what keeps you up at night? What are your biggest headaches? What are your biggest line items? What are your biggest costs? What are you most interested in? And listen deeply and actively to their responses, to their stories. And then now you know how to be able to tailor your product and your service to drive the greatest value for that person. Value generation is incredibly important. And in order to generate real value for real people, you need to know the problems you're addressing are also real problems. And so that really is able to be done when you're learning from the stories and experiences of the people you're talking to. People care about different things, even if they're in the same company. And so that value generation looks different depending on who you talk to. So really take time to listen and really take time to engage and empathize and put yourself in that person's shoes. And that's how you're able to resonate with people on a really deep level.